Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
for the January 22nd, 2025 meeting in the Novak room. If we could just go around and do some intros, that would be fantastic. If we could start down with Jen, that'd be great.
Jen Harrington, board member.
Nick Norton, board member.
Stephanie Papakostendis, chair.
Mike Whistler, board member.
Bob Dudra, board member.
Dan and Danielle, I'll have you guys do an intro via Zoom as well.
Yep, Dan Provost, board member, joining from Zoom, and I have the room to myself.
Thank you. Done this before.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember we used to have to say that.
Yeah. And Danielle, if you're able to. Oh, we'll say. Danielle Capoballo and.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Recovering from whatever that I'm recovering from. Daniel Capalbo, a volunteer, a resident in Exeter,
Thank you.
joined by Zoom.
Great. Thank you. And then are you in the room by yourself?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Thank you. And then Greg?
Greg Beeson, Exeter Parks and Recreation Director.
David Tovey, Exeter Parks and Recreation Assistant Director.
Caroline Neal, Exeter Parks and Recreation Coordinator.
All right. Well, we don't appear to have any public comment, and Zoom doesn't appear to have any public comment either. So we can move on from that to the minute approvals from our last.
Joanna is finishing up minutes from the December meeting.
Yeah,
and
it
she's
is.
also doing the minutes via video tonight.
Okay.
But this will be the last time she's doing it because she just is too busy. So
Okay.
we appreciate Joanna, and we'll be looking for someone to do minutes.
Perfect. Sounds great. So we'll table that until next week
Correct.
or the next meeting until we get our minutes
Yep.
in there. So why don't we move on to our recaps? Hampton Road update.
Yeah, wanted to bring the board up to speed. We just had our weekly meeting for 10 Hampton Road renovation with Hampshire Development Corporation. Just going over a couple scenarios. The initial plan were to take down some walls in certain offices, and we have to slightly modify that. The front office, the front programming space on the second floor, we're going to combine two rooms. There's a structural wall, so we can't combine the two rooms, but we're still creating a multi-purpose space because there was a little alternative, if you remember the plans of an office. So we're just scrapping the office, so one of the original offices is going to stay. So we're saving money there by not taking down structural walls, obviously. We don't want to do that. I call it the middle waiting area on the second floor, there was some unevenness. They pulled up all the floor so we can see the fascinating old structure underneath. So they're going to shore it up, scissor some joist in and level it off. That's how they're not going to chase it into other rooms because the next thing we know is we're gutting the whole second floor, and that's not in our budget.
Yeah.
And then lastly is the large room on the second floor. As you know, it was in the plans to dormer one side. After getting structural engineers involved, it's either a very large beam that might be cost prohibitive or laminated beams with some posts in the middle of it. So we don't want posts in a large room because we want it for exercise and dance or anything. So they're looking at some alternatives to do, and we might dormer both sides now. Just to put the load on the outside of the wall and have a beam and a header pretty much carrying the load so it's on the outside. They're going back to the structural engineer on that. And but everything, the MEP rough planning is in. We're going over some stuff now. Hampshire Development Corp had to do a couple things like get registered with SAMS.gov. So they're officially now registered with them. So we're good with CDFA, our Community Development Finance Authority. And lastly, they should have a bid package in the next couple weeks to submit so we can go out to bid, and a cost analysis by 30 days from now. So we'll know the whole big picture in 30 days and have a better ballpark of where we're going for this. And then, it's moving along. lot of stuff has been removed, so they've taken down ceilings, walls, so they're moving along pretty good. So
Can I ask a question on the big room upstairs,
Sure.
the activity space? If we dormer both sides, is that going to raise the roof from being angled at all, or will it still be that angle on both sides? Do you know?
it is going to be a little more a little flatter, but
Okay.
it still will have a pitch to it.
Okay.
It's just not going to be as steep.
That's good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So it's going to raise the ceiling height a little bit, but there's a couple of things that we're going to double check. Because now with moving some around, we might leave the office that's adjacent to the large room as a storage area. So we might have additional storage. It can never have not enough. But yeah, and so it's going good. Shane and Steve Shane Forsley and Steve Wilson have been great to work with. Dave Sharple's been great. DPW's on this committee now, so we meet, and just our last meeting, Doug Eastman, our building inspector. So a lot of departments are involved in this process, and
Okay.
it's doing very well.
That's great. Bob, did you have a question?
I did. What's your projected move-in date now?
Right now, they haven't told us they're not going to complete by June 1st, but I'm anticipating probably later, middle of summer or late summer. We have till the end of the summer to complete the project. August 26th,
I think it's 31st.
31st. So we got plenty. We got a little extra 2 months that built in there, but they're rocking and rolling.
And what's going out for bid, Greg?
Everything. They Community Development Finance Authority, Mike, would prefer a total bid package. So
All the trades.
all the trades.
So the MEP package is out to bid?
It will be. Yep. And then, as Steve Olson said, once we actually get the lowest qualified bidder, then we can do some value engineering, because a lot of them, as he said, may have tips or tricks to reduce the cost or not. So they're looking forward to getting out there. And there's a lot of buzz about this project. Their phones have been ringing constantly, wondering when we're going out to bid for it. So plenty of firms out there looking to bid on it.
Good.
Great.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments? Awesome. Thank you for the overview and recap on that. Planet Playground update. Moving along.
We are still waiting on approvals from the state. I have reached out today asking where the progress were. I think it got delayed because of our new governor coming in, so we're waiting on Governor Ayotte and the Executive Council just to accept it so we can move forward. And then we have RFPs ready to go out for fencing, paving, demo, and landscape/irrigation. So the plan is to put some nice decorative beds that have plants that will deter mosquitoes. Non-flowering, really. We're looking at lemongrass and all that stuff, just to break up the hardness of a playground. And so, yeah, we're just waiting on that. And, yeah, that's just wait. It's a wait game.
Any questions or comments from the board for Greg on Planet Playground? All right, moving along, summer camp, field trip
Caroline.
updates.
So, I can't remember if I mentioned this last meeting or not, but we've decided to eliminate the admin fee for summer camp payment plans. So that you'll just have to pay, the rate rather than also having to pay the administration fee. So we're really excited about that. And then new this year is you're gonna be able to pay like in total for all the camp trips, so you'll get a bit of a savings there, or you can wait and do a la carte trips. So we'll be announcing those trips in the coming week, and getting people ready for registration that opens to returning Exeter residents on February 3rd. And in the meantime, applications are open for summer camp staff, and you can visit exeternh.gov/recreation for the link to apply.
Can you remind us for February 3rd for the returning Exeter residents, I'm trying to remember if that includes siblings as well, if you're.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, just wanted anybody watching
Returning
to know.
families, I should
Returning
say.
families, okay,
Yeah.
perfect, that's awesome, thank you.
And we make those calls.
We do, yes, we call you.
Yep. So don't come in and line up, we'll call
Yeah.
you, and it'll take us the whole week to go through the whole list, but we'll get through there.
No hypothermia anymore.
No more hypothermia, no more of those days.
Oh, and one more thing on camp. If you are looking for a scholarship, make sure you are part of the Are You In program. And if you email me a picture of your Are You In card, I will add you to the lottery list and we'll do our lottery the day that non-resident registration opens, but we'll never, you're guaranteed a spot if you're on the lottery list. We would never give a spot, you would never lose a spot
Yep.
because of financial restrictions, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that.
And we
well.
have commitments from the Women's Club, the Kiwanis Club, the Masons, and we've already gotten some scholarships for Lincoln Street School, but they help select the students to go. So we're already getting someone, and the Car Dealers Association, New Car Dealers Association is also pledged to spots. So we're excited they're already on board, and most of them have made it an annual line in their budget. So they're really buying into sending kids to camp.
Last year, we had 27 campers on full scholarships, so we're still looking for more scholarships. So if anyone is interested in sponsoring a camper for the summer, we would love to help you do that.
Awesome, thank you. And I see the now hiring as well. I don't know if you wanted to touch on that as well.
Sure, yeah, we have limited CIT spots. So CITs are students who are currently in high school. So rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors for next year. So we have very limited CIT spots, but we are looking to hire some counselors and maybe 1 to 2 leadership positions. So if you are interested, visit our website, exeternh.gov/recreation, and you can click on employment opportunities, and there's a link to apply right there. To be a summer camp counselor, you have to have graduated high school. So if you're graduating this June, perfect, you're eligible to be a camp counselor.
Interesting. And the CIT positions, those are not by age anymore then? It sounds like it's more high school, because they were by age, right? At one point, it was like 14 and above, or
Well, we look at it, we know a freshman, like coming out freshman year, they're older than 14.
Right.
In the 20 years I've been here, we've only hired 3 or 4 at 14 years old.
Okay.
So it tells you, we have high
Right.
standards,
Right,
and
you
Caroline
should,
does a
yeah.
fabulous
And
job.
the reason it's not necessarily your age, it's because we don't want anyone to be in a position where they're supervising their peers.
Yeah, that
or
makes
supervising
sense.
someone that's in the same grade as them.
Yeah.
So we have campers that are going to be freshmen, so we do not hire anyone that's going to be a freshman. You
Yeah,
have to be
makes
going to be a
sense.
senior. I'm not a senior, excuse me,
Sophomore.
a sophomore.
totally makes
Um,
sense.
Yes, and then the ACA has some standards, the American Camping Association, which is the national accrediting board. So they have some standards on like ratios of how many like adults, how many 16-year-olds, et cetera, you can have. So that's where we try to follow those standards as best we can.
That's great, that totally makes sense. Thank you for
Yes.
clarifying that, too. Any questions or any comments that you'd?
I have one question. Getting rid of the fees for registration, how did that work?
It's just the admin fee we're getting rid of. So when you sign up to be for a payment plan, you would have to pay a $50 admin fee because we were managing your money for you. We've decided, since they needed the financial help, eliminating $50 will definitely help those that need the help. So it just lessens the burden on them.
That's great.
Right. Anything else, guys, from the board? And Dan and Danielle, I am checking in there too, so if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hands or anything you want to say. So we're checking on you.
All set, thanks.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Oh, Dave, I heard your van presentation the other night, so we're moving down toward
We're not there yet.
Bus update, we're not there, we're bus, not van. All right, so Coast Bus update for 10 Hampton Road. Dave Tovey,
Yeah.
Coast Bus Town Representative.
So, now that we're gonna be moving into, down to 10 Hampton, Coast right now, if you're not familiar, it's an on-demand service in town, so you have to call them the day before to schedule a ride, and they have a certain route, and they will go outside of that route. It does not go down Hampton Road at all. It goes towards, what is, that market down there? I'm always drawing a blank. No, but anyways, it doesn't go down towards 10 Hampton. And so the senior council, we've been talking about transportation a lot, and I'm on the board, so I figured let's reach out to Coast and see if they'd be willing to. They are, but it does come with a cost. So Melissa Roy and I had a meeting with them to discuss this, and there was a few things that still need to be ironed out. There are, with the medical centers and dialysis centers down there, if we were to expand the route down there, that will really increase the demand, which is, again, really gonna increase the cost to the town. So we still have some things to iron out with Coast. They are looking for a proposal from us. Could be anything like twice a week, a scheduled service down to 10 Hampton. And ideally beyond 10 Hampton down to Sterling Hill. A lot of residents there were really excited to hear about the potential for Coast to be coming down there. Just, again, transportation is such a hot topic in town and everywhere really. So we're working with Coast on that. And if that option doesn't work, we're looking at other options too, as far as transportation goes. But so I'll have more updates for you from Coast on getting down to 10 Hampton.
This will be a monthly agenda item. We'll keep on there just to keep you posted, because obviously transportation in general in town is kind of important, especially with having a community center there. And just getting up even to the park in the summertime. People that grew up in this town reminisce about when there was a trolley that used to go from downtown Exeter to Hampton Beach. So imagine that. But Dave's done a great job representing the town and filling in Melissa, myself, keeping us up to date, because obviously it's a fluid situation.
So, Dave, what type of bus is that?
They have a lot of different buses. They're all ADA wheelchair accessible. For their on-demand service, it's not a very large bus, I believe. It's like a 15 to like 20 passenger. Some of them require CDL, some of them don't.
Because like you said, there's a lot of health facilities out there that I'm sure has a demand.
Yeah,
And that's a drop-off at the location.
right.
Yeah. That's where Meals on Wheels and TripLink come in very handy for our seniors, at least. So they can call up, make a reservation. Meals on Wheels brings a lot of the seniors to the medical appointments.
Yeah. If anyone has someone, or if anyone's watching at home and they have a family member who doesn't drive and needs a ride, I always recommend TripLink. They're the call center, and they will connect you with either Coast, Meals on Wheels, Task, which is a volunteer driver program. That they're the people who to call, and they'll connect you with whoever is the best option for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, is Task in town also?
Yep.
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 And do the users that want to use the bus, is there a fee for them, or who pays for the service?
For which one, Task or
No.
Coast? Or?
For Coast?
Coast of the town, communities that Task services, communities provide funding. They also get a lot of federal fundings from FTA, Federal Transportation, and yeah, state and federal funds. Not to go down too far of a rabbit hole, Exeter, ironically, is no longer urban. It's now considered a rural area from the 2020 census. So that really changed the funding for Exeter from Coast. So there's other funds that they're now, the rural funds that they're going to be going after. But it's very interesting being on this board and seeing everything that goes into it, and again, transportation it's always been a big topic, and it's never going away, because eventually everyone stops driving, and
Because there is a fee when they come pick you up.
sorry. So if you were to call their on-demand service, there's the route that I mentioned, and if you get picked up on that route, it's $1.50 one way. If they'll pick you up at your home outside of that route, and it's maybe like a half a mile outside of it radius, that's $3 one way.
Does the bus service have a map for people to say, oh, where I could pick it up versus having them come to their individual house? Or-
Yes, there is. I know it's in our senior resource guide, which is on our website. And I know if you go to Coast, just like Google Coast Transportation.
I think Bob's pulling up the coast map right now as we talk.
There we go. Yeah, they have a really good interactive map on their website too. There it is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you, Bob. Adel.
So that's Route 7 on demand, which services Newmarket down to Exeter. You can see like the shaded areas around that line. Those are the areas that they will go outside of, and they'll pick you up at your house. Actually, Bob, Exeter TV worked with a member of our senior council, and they worked with TripLink, and they made a fantastic video on how easy it is to use Coast, because not a lot of people use it in town, but it may just be an educational piece. People don't know how to use it, but they made a great video on how to use it, and it's really cool. I know we need to get it on our website and post it in more places. So, but yeah, you can see it doesn't go down towards 10 Hampton. So, working on that without spending a lot of money for the town.
Any other questions, guys, on that? Thank you, Dave. This is
Yeah.
great. All right. Well, this next one looks exciting.
Yeah.
Scriptless in Seattle,
Yep.
improv fundraiser event.
Yeah, so this company reached out to me a while back. It's an improv group. They tour nationally, and we've been considering it and wanted to share it with the board. This could be a great fundraising opportunity. We were just talking about summer camp scholarships. There's Planet Playground, 10 Hampton. We could fundraise for any one of those, but we were considering, obviously, Town Hall would be a great venue for it. It'd be a ticketed event. Ideally, we could maybe have some local beer and wine maybe served there, but just a good adult night out. And I'm sure we can maybe work with our summer staff to maybe provide some daycare or night care, rather. So we wanted to share it with you all and kind of see what your thoughts were.
What exactly is it?
So let me provide more. So there is information in the packet too. Their contract, and I've been working with them on the price because the first number they threw out was very expensive, and it basically has gone down to around $2,000 for them to come in. Which is not bad. We could hopefully get some sponsors too, and then that would require some technical assistance. So we gotta schedule a meeting with them and Exeter TV and see if there's anything that they could do to help. If not, we'd have to pay for someone to come in. It's basic, lighting cues and the microphone, all the audio and stuff like that. But it's like the Whose Line Is It Anyway type of improv comedy show.
They were been very successful. They actually held a show in Rye, and what did Rye have? 40 plus people?
Yeah, I forget the numbers there. They were telling me about one in Florida though that was, if I did the math right, it made like $8,000 for that community.
Before the 3,400 was taken, or was that?
Yeah.
Before they took their fees, or?
So not sure what they charged that community down in Florida. They were just telling me like how many people were there, and they sold tickets at $55 a person. So doing the $55 math with like $2,000 or $2,500 that they would charge us, And given if we're able to get some sponsors too, it could be a really good fundraiser.
So what drives the need for a specific fundraiser like this? Is there, does it go to a certain program or just a general fund, or does it kind of check the box for an annual fundraiser that you guys hold?
I'd say we've been making a pretty good effort on camp scholarships, and I mean personally, that's kind of the first one I go to too. Is just helping kids who normally wouldn't be able to participate in our summer camp, give them a full summer, give their parents. You know, most of those families, they have working parents, so they need some sort of childcare. But I mean, Greg, it could go into our RIC revolving fund to help, you know, increase our reserves for down the road.
It could definitely, all our program scholarships, Nick. Really,
Yep.
it comes
Yeah,
down to
sports,
it.
too, and-
The sports shirts, the sports uniforms, they're really expensive. So when we allow those to come in and sign in, because we don't refuse anyone as long as they're RUN family, it really comes down to trying to recoup some of our losses on those. But really, the summer camp, we support all the summer camp trips. If everyone remembers, like, just because we got an organization sponsoring someone, send them on a scholarship doesn't mean that we want them to immerse themselves in the full summer. So field trips, families that a child may qualify for the RUN program, they can qualify for a family pool pass with us, because obviously the family has been vetted by RUN, and some of the family, of course, they don't give it for kids, but the family needs that resource. So it could go for anything. It's really to help support our operations.
Nice, great. Do you have certain criteria that you look at when you've done past fundraisers as to what attracts people versus, you know, what some of the revenue could look like, or what's your sort of criteria that has been successful in the past?
I know in the past we've looked at find something that is not typically done in town. Like we tried the murder mystery 2 years ago with fairly decent success. We could have brought in more sponsors, but that's not anything that's out of our control, I guess. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of organizations doing a lot of fundraising. What can set us apart? So that's my number one criteria is like, and when David got this email, like, hey, this is something I don't remember having any kind of improv thing. You look around at the different facilities or businesses around, like Sea Dog holds a comedy night. The high school's done tons of fundraisers. So this checks the box for us as being unique and offering something like this in an evening where we are very kid-centered and senior-centric, so maybe open up to the parents, like, here you go, have a night out on us. Like, come support your Parks and Rec and have a good time.
So this is kind of an audience call-up improv kind of thing, it looks like?
I'd have to get more details on like how it goes, but I mean, just know, like, seeing improv, and that's how they explained it to me. It was like, whose line is it anyway type thing. Like, the audience, calls out, like, give us a scene or give us a, you know, whatever. And but I can get more details on, and I'm sure they have some videos, too, that I could also share with everyone as well. But just to sort of answer Nick's question, too, on what sort of drives, and to add to the scholarships that we've done last year, we provided $18,670 in program scholarships. So that's camp and sports programs, all that too.
We've seen an increase in need as well. So that's definitely a huge driver of why we need to do these fundraisers, is because there's an increased need and we want to meet that need.
I think that's great information because, you know, depending on what the target audience is, I think that could definitely motivate people to sign up if they understand, you know, specific need and that there's an increased need in their community versus just, you know, maybe them thinking it goes to like a revolving fund, which may, so. But this seems fun. I like the fact that, you know, we have good insight that unique events like this are usually successful, and it looks pretty fun. If one of the three of you could get up on stage and do improv, I would definitely
I'll leave that to David.
I would pay to go see that too.
Fun.
No, it looks good.
I definitely
Yeah,
would like to know more about it and maybe see a video or anything like that.
I think Mr. Provost has.
Yeah, Dan,
I was just gonna say, I think it would do well. Anytime we've done things like this at the high school, whether it's a magician or hypnotist, anything like that, you attach a little fundraising element to it, and it tends to do well. I think I just missed this part right at the beginning, though. They do have like somewhat, I mean, it's not extensive, but there are like some technical lighting and sound input stuff. Would we have to hire out for that, or is that something that you guys can do in-house?
So I got to talk with Bob and Exeter TV and see exactly what their capabilities are. I got to look through the tech rider that this group sent me to determine exactly what their needs are for the performance. So I'll be reaching out to Bob soon to start that conversation as well. But yes, if we don't have everything that they needed, we would have to hire out. They don't have their own person that travels with them.
was there a
Right.
date that you were looking to do something like this, or like a roundabout?
So was it May? I think they're performing somewhere around Boston in May. So they threw that out like, oh, we'll
So
be
real
around.
quick.
We could do that. But yeah, I mean, we're open. At first, we were thinking, oh, this would be a great like winter time event. There's not a lot going on, but just given the time now and planning and all of that.
Yeah,
And keep in mind, the town hall is a challenge during the winter
the
when
bathroom.
you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's great, like, but on a night like tonight when you have to run outside to use the bathroom, it's tough. Well, I'd love to know more about it too and find out, a little bit more on,
Well, I'm sure that they have a website we can visit and see what the show's all about. Just looking briefly at this, it looks like they kind of call up some folks from the audience to participate, which could be very fun.
We can get you that information for our next meeting.
yeah, we'll definitely, I'm gonna pull up the video after too, so let's all check it out and see what our thoughts are on that. And I know we had talked in the past too for fundraising, we had talked about doing like an 80s prom or something like that too, which might not have as much overhead to it. But you've got to get the DJ obviously and stuff like that, but it might not have as much, like, because I was thinking the same thing, Dan, when I was reading through, I saw a lot of lighting requirements and things like that they required, that they didn't bring like blue light and purple lights and things like that, it just said too. But this does look fun too. I think there's a lot of different opportunities we can definitely jump on for fundraising stuff too.
Sounds good. I'll get more details and speak with Bob too, and can come back to you guys with some more information.
That'd be awesome. Maybe we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting too, to review it. Yeah. All right. Any other questions on this, guys, before we take a look and find out more about it? Oh, all right. Deliberative session. That's a big one.
Yes, just as anyone's watching, Saturday, February 1st, 9 a.m. at Exeter High School. We encourage all the rec advisory board to attend as well. Last night, the select board held their public hearing on the budget and bond, and David and myself presented. The select board has supported moving forward with the proposed budget, which has our part-time senior coordinator in there. And to recap for those, our part-time senior coordinator is going to be split half out of the rec revolving fund this year, half out of the general fund, with a portion of it being offset by the grant. So $5,200, I believe.
Yeah.
For a grant. So that was great. David and Barbara Desjardins presented on our ADA van. It was great to get them up there. The select board supports that as well. That will be a great piece of equipment to have when those don't use the Coast Bus option. If that becomes viable, we'll be able to reach out to those that are homebound and bring them 1 or 2 days to the facility for programming. So that's something we're really excited about. And the select board was also unanimous in supporting the park improvement fund. because it is an integral part to revitalizing our park system and chipping away at those little items that we need to catch up on the deferred maintenance. So, I mean, it was a very positive night for the rec warrant articles and position.
Any questions, guys?
Can you get the date out one more time for deliberative?
February 1st,
9
9 a.m., Exeter High School, auditorium.
Yes.
Get there early. It does start at 9 a.m. You do have to, as a resident, check in and get your little card
Yep.
for voting wise. And this is truly where the residents can make a difference. So showing up and being supportive, talking about it. We do have members of our senior council that will be in attendance as well, in support of the ADA van and the senior coordinator if that is questioned, and having you all, if you can make it, for the Park Improvement Fund, knowing that all the good things we've done in the last several years.
Questions, comments? All right, we will move on. Rec master plan, so it was.
So this is something we've been starting to talk about as we get inch closer to 10 Hampton Road is starting the recreation master plan process. We did have a resident a couple years ago start the framework of a document for our master plan. It has all our facilities listed and everything, but we need some more input. So, and meeting with Assistant Town Manager Melissa Roy, we are talking because it is, as you see further down, it is a very expensive I think exercise to bring in a third party, but we can start doing the legwork by getting out a surveying and start getting the data needed. So that's one less thing that we need to do, is get that data. The Pearpoint Park has been very successful collecting data for what people want to see at Pearpoint Park. So we hopefully maybe piggyback on that. So that way we have a little more guidance as we move forward. It's going to be hopefully doing a master plan on both programming and facilities as we move forward and really have a vision and set up almost a 3, 5, and 8 year plan moving forward. What that envision is what the residents come out and tell us what they'd like to see. But it's really an opportunity for us, because we do a lot of evaluations, but really we haven't done a recreation needs assessment since 2015. So it's about time we start that journey again. And when we started that the recreational needs assessment, we did the same thing. We started with a survey ourselves, which was an intern project, and it was successful. We had about 600 people register it, but and then we can budget for that third party in possibly 2026 to come in and collect the data, hold public forums, really get that. And it'll be a complement to the town master plan. Dave Sharples, our planner, has done an outstanding job with the town master plan. He's the head of their committee, so picking his brain. But if you read the town master plan, recreation is mentioned throughout the master plan. So this would kind of make it more specific of what we want to see moving forward. And everything we know is moving, so what we finalize after the master plan of 8 years could be different within 5 years. So we just want to make sure we're current and offering the opportunities for both facilities and programs that will meet the needs of our residents.
Is that document that the residents started, is that on the website, or is that something?
No, I'm still actually waiting. I got to reach out to him. He was going to email it to me, so it's a very rough draft, Bob. So,
Okay.
as it was, he had to convert it. One time he had it all black, and it was just white letters.
The old one that we had, like the original one that was.
No, this
Where's
is
the newer
something
one?
this gentleman in town, Joel, was paid to do community service, and one of the things is, so he started accumulating all the data for us and putting it in one single document, which is now like 45, 50 pages of rec facilities, programs. And then we were implementing some of the conservation trails and all that, because obviously it's passive recreation, so it needs to be included. So I will get that and distribute it to the board to kind of take a look at and see what they think.
Do you think that maybe another survey to the public would be helpful to give you
Oh, yeah,
additional
no, that's what
information?
we're gonna put together
Okay.
a survey. Yep. Yep. So once we'll start putting together questions and let you guys decide if we want to add what questions, if we want to take some questions away. So we are gonna pretty much reach out to other communities that have done the master plan and see what survey they put out. And in the Parks and Rec field, we like to borrow a lot of material. Why recreate it? And so we'll probably use that as our model.
Craig, are you looking to start this after the completion of 10 Hampton or
No,
start ramping up?
Ramping up to the completion of 10 Hampton Road.
Okay.
That way we start getting the data in there, and that way
Got it.
we have a little bit of guidance. We know as a staff what we feel will be successful. I think number one being the senior lounge, having an opportunity for people to come out and socialize and hang out. That's going to be a big thing. But really giving us guidance on, do we do more exercise programs? Do we do aftercare, after school? Like what does the town need?
Any other questions on master plan? All right, thank you for that overview. Dave, AARP Community Challenge Grant.
Yes, so we've been awarded this grant in the past. It actually helped us purchase the benches here in Townhouse Common. But it is coming up, the deadline is actually March 5th. There's a lot of different projects that you could apply for, the grant money could be used for. One thing that we were considering was connecting 10 Hampton down to 4 Hampton, that pathway that needs to be redone anyways, so making it a nice accessible pathway. Connecting the two properties would be, some of the past recipients or awardees had similar type projects too. So there is a webinar coming up with like Q&A and everything on the grant, the 29th of this month, so I'll be going on there and asking some questions, and but wanted to share that with you all. If there's any other projects that you guys could think of that would really be, being AARP, it's more of like an age-friendly initiative. So just something to keep in mind when you're thinking of projects. But and we shared that idea too, actually today with Melissa Roy, and thought that was a great idea too.
Yeah.
Not only would we extend it, we'd widen it,
Yeah, that's
because right now it's 4 feet. We
and
widen it
very
to 5.
crocky.
Yeah. So extending it fully that way that connects parking lot to parking lot.
That's
Would
great.
be ideal.
What pathway are you talking about?
The pathway that leads up towards the softball fields that ends
Oh,
abruptly.
between the current park and the tennis court.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's great. I think that's a great use of it. It's needed to be done for a while. Really great.
So it is a highly competitive grant, but with Dave's outstanding work on getting us becoming an age-friendly community, I think it gives us a nod up. Doesn't guarantee anything. When we got the grant for the benches, we didn't qualify for their big grant because this grant can fund up to, was it 50,000, I think?
Yeah.
I think there's a limit to it. ARP liked our proposal so much, they're like, we want to do benches in your park. So they reached out to Dave, say, hey, we have this leftover funding. We want to give it to you guys because we like the work you're doing. So that's why there's a little plaque on every bench at Townhouse Common.
What other questions on that? We are cruising along tonight. New business, spring sports, T-ball increases.
We are now trying to bring our prices up, not to EJBSL, but close. We've brought them up. Last year, we're still, it's a great deal. You get, for T-ball, you get shirt, hat, pants. Am I missing anything? No. And we also are using those funds to help maintain the T-ball fields as well a little bit. So we have to bring it up because last year we pretty much broke even. So we're gonna bring it up to $85. It's still a deal. And so we wanted to make the board aware. We're raising rates on T-ball. Last year, Caroline, can you remember off the top of your head, we had how many T-ball teams? We had a lot.
10 in the little kids and I think 8 in the older kids division, so a ton of teams. The price increase is strictly because our costs have gone up. So we're no longer able to, we don't want to lose money, so we have to raise prices. It's not because we're trying to make a lot of money off T-ball, it's just because uniforms have gone up.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I think back when 20 years ago when I got here, you could play baseball for $25
Yeah.
and got everything. But that's when the town fully funded baseball and it came out of the general fund. So there was no requirement to break even. So.
On a baseball note, Dan, if you're there, I believe AJBL has a evaluation Sunday, and that includes dropping off any well-used baseball equipment you want to unload. Is that right?
Gently used.
Gently used. Well, yes, gently used.
Well loved.
Well loved.
Yes. Yeah, we do. We have our free clinics, the first of our 4 free clinics this Sunday. The young kids go from like 6 to 8 years olds are from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, the rest of the afternoon as it goes up. And Greg, you had mentioned, I think at the last meeting, that Gilman is getting resurfaced. Is T-ball going to be exclusively at Gilman, or is that at the rec parks as well?
No, last year the T-ball was there and we overflowed to Park Street, which we plan on working with you because Dan is also putting on a hat of helping do scheduling for the whole organization.
You
So,
lucky dog.
yeah, we're going to utilize all our facilities as much as possible, Dan.
We're at
Good. I like the more baseball and softball in those fields, the easier they are to maintain. So we just don't like when they're dormant.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
We use the fields starting at 12 p.m. on Saturdays in May. I can tell you that much.
Awesome. And that's going to be, the ground's going to be okay for them to do that work? That's the plan?
Yep, that's still the plan to move forward. We just we do have to go to the board to get final approval, but that's one of the things that we've tabled and we will be going in the next couple of meetings just to get that approval. Frankie has us on the docket to do it, and Frankie Mission Turf here in town maintains all the ball fields. There's contractors and then there's contractors that work on ball fields, and that's what Mission Turf is.
Dan, is there an established drop-off place for people that might have gently used softball or baseball gear from now to Sunday that they can leave where someone can pick up, or is there anywhere you want to drop?
During the season, we take it over at Courier at the Snack Shack, but off season, if you brought it to the high school and said, give it to Mr. Provost, they would find me. So that would be fine.
Okay.
I'm sure they're going to love that. People start showing up in the main office with bat bags. But I'll get it. But that's a good idea. Maybe for our next one, we'll set up a drop site.
Yeah.
But Sunday morning is a good time to do so, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Sunday we'll be there starting at noon for setting up. So
And
someone
that's at
will-
the high school?
Yep.
Perfect.
And how do you acquire some of these gently used goods if you're in need of, say, a mitt or a bat?
So we put it out to our league and also through RUN. But we tell families, especially if you're trying it out for the first time, before you spend any money on bat, cleats even, to check out our swap shop. That's we have our website, contact information there. Most people just reach out to either Joe Cotois or myself, Contoy or myself. And we give people what they need. And then in season, honestly, people come in and they upgrade through the swap shop. There's some really nice bats in there. There's always nice gloves in there, catcher's mitts, things like that. So they'll take something they grew out of and leave it and find something they like better and take it.
And Dan, the Parks and Rec would be a perfect drop-off site.
Oh, that's
We're open
true.
Monday through Friday, and so if you'd like to put a box in there in our lobby.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Absolutely. We'll connect on that. I love that.
All right. That's great. Thank you, Greg. And thank you, Dan, for doing that. All right, old business.
I just want to report back to the board. We did talk to Primex about our luncheons. We are good to go. Primex ran it, our risk manager, Nicole, ran it up to the claims, and she's like, nope, no, nothing to worry about. These are all adults. If we are serving children, probably a little bit different. But we do ask dietary needs, and they're like, nope, and good for Parks and Rec, they said, for serving a needed demographic.
That's
So
awesome.
we actually have, the chamber helped us out on our last meal. Our baked potato bar was a big hit.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Baked potato, salad, and soup. And so we're consistently actually buying equipment too. So if the grant funds dry up and we can't get any grants, we do have equipment to sustain some of it, and then we just have to be creative. But the soup was a super big hit, I can tell you that. And they've kind of requested more soup.
Easy to eat. It's
yeah.
moist cold.
Yeah.
Just to add to the service piece too, is we're also Serve Safe certified, so that's another just piece of
Yeah.
risk management there.
Yeah.
Do you guys take donations of supplies and stuff like that for those lunches? Do you need anything? Is there a place that people can drop off, chafing dishes or serving things or anything like that, I'm sure people are cleaning through?
Let us brainstorm on that
Yeah.
because we've bought some new more chafing dishes. We bought Crocs to keep our soup warm. We just bought a cart to roll stuff around,
That's
obviously.
All right,
And-
let us
And like
know.
tongs and stuff, but we should
Yeah.
put together a list of what we're looking
Yeah.
for.
That'd be great, because
Yeah.
I'm sure, I bet we could go through just our kitchen alone. We could find so many things that could be helpful.
If you have good tongs.
I don't know that I can separate. I don't know that I can part with my tongs. I'll tell you, those are good.
I know.
I have bad tongs. I'm happy to give you. But all right. Well, thank you for all that. Anything else we need to bring up on old business, new business?
Just one thing we forgot to mention, like we had handed out some pamphlets on the fundraiser for Playground. If any of you have had connections and want to talk with us offline, we're happy to accompany you. Obviously, if you have a connection to a certain company, it's great as you introduce us, and then we can take it from there. So just keep that in mind. We're still looking for more, even though we raised $37,000.
All right, that works. Does the board have anything they want to bring up or need to bring up?
I just have one quick question.
Sure.
Can you just remind me, I think we're at a wait and see point on the improvements at the pool house.
Yes, that when we have the cost estimates done for 10 Hampton Road, we should be able to make a better determination
Okay.
on moving forward. One thing we did tackle, Jen, is we are tackling the door at the concession.
Okay.
We're switching that out because that's one thing. The double doors was really not working. So what we will have in there, so when we do future improvements, is it's a single door with a window that they'll be able to slide open, just like the concession windows. And so eventually when we put the mini split in there, and it also opens out into the hallway. So instead of the staff having to get out of the way for us to go in there, we can just open it up, squeeze by, close it. So that's one thing. And then Scott Thomas, our foreman, has had an electrician go in and look at all our lighting. And there's some great rebates out there right now, if we want to convert stuff. Some of them are being held on by zip ties. So, and we're looking to possibly improve the ventilation in the men's and women's room as well, and replace the one in the concession. It depends on what the price point is, just because, Jen can attest, you turn on the exhaust fan in the concession, and it's like a motorcycle revving next to you.
You
So
can't hear a thing.
So if we can get something a little more quiet, just to move the air. But that's something we're also looking at too. Air turnover in the whole building will be much better. But just one thing, the door first. But we'll know more later.
Thank you.
Anything else? Oh, it's time. If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, we'll adjourn. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.